Good afternoon to you here from the UK on Easter Sunday. Tis today. And yeah, here we are for day 47. I think it was, I just typed. And we've got a theme today of some really strong words, actually. So, destruction was the, when the word came up, I was like, oh, okay. Destruction, births, creation is the theme for today. And it actually that struck me in itself that, the word destruction we hear and we imagine it sounds so terrible that it's a very negative experience. But in fact, destruction is happening all the time in various ways. Or at the very least, we could call it endings. In softer language, we might say we're letting go of something or we're releasing something. But in some ways, it's a destruction. If you could say, like, every thought that comes into our experience is birthed and then is destroyed. It disappears somewhere. I don't know where it comes from, therefore I don't know where it goes either. But it appears and it disappears. It's created and it's destroyed. And in that destruction, then something new can be created. So if you've ever had the experience of going round and round and round in your thoughts, and then at some point, for whatever reason, and in through whatever mechanism, that thought cycle is destroyed, the space is then created for something new and fresh and much more loving and healthy to come through. I'm sure you've had that experience. If not, then just take a moment to consider, or if you don't think you have, so I guarantee you have, but if you don't think you have, take a moment to consider times when it seemed like there's no space for fresh. Um there's no clear thinking coming. There's no nice feeling thinking coming. You're just going round and round and round, mithering, worrying, or debating. But then at some point that the destruction of that happens and something fresher and more loving and more usually proactive, more helpful comes through. So really, this destruction, birthing, creation is happening all the time in those little ways. Every single thought is destroyed and a new one is then created. But of course, it happens in bigger ways as well. People would talk about a midlife crisis, everything collapsing, everything being stripped away. Women going through perimenopause, I've heard talk about this, like everything being stripped away that cannot withstand that process. Destruction. But what comes in its place is that creation of something fresh, creation of something new, creation of something which is usually much more aligned and much more relevant and right for whatever's happening just now. And we see it in nature as well. When forest fires sweep through an area, then it doesn't take very long for new creation, new life to start growing and sprouting. So this cycle, in fact, let me add another word in. So this cycle is something that's always been happening, always will be happening. My meditation training years ago, when I started down this path really of asking what on earth is going on, I began with transcendental meditation, with Ziva meditation. And one of the things I always remembered Emily Fletcher, the teacher, speaking about was this cycle of creation, maintenance, and destruction. So everything is created, maintained for a while, and then destroyed. And this destruction phase is essential in order for that next creation to come through. And it'll be maintained for a while, and then it will go. And the only difference is that this cycle is different for different things. The cycle for a thought is different for the cycle of a pyramid, is different for the cycle of the sun. But all is created, maintained, and destroyed. So, although that word destruction can sound really strong and really kind of confronting in a way, it is part of what's already happening. And feel free to use different language if that word doesn't work for you, beginnings and endings, for example. But this is what's happening all the time, and it really is the healthy process. It is the healthy process that keeps us evolving, keeps us moving forward, keeps us moving to what's next, what's fresh and new, what's right for us next. Because what's right for us next isn't what's been right for us in the past. Not now. It was right then. There's something else which is right now. So if you're here today, I imagine that that's because there is something in your life that's ready to be destroyed, and brilliant. So this transmission is to support you with that process, in releasing, in allowing, in whatever it is that needs to be destroyed, whatever it is that needs to end, to support that ending process so that something fresh and new and more aligned can come through. So we will sit together for 15 minutes with this transmission of destruction, birthing, creation. And you'll know when our time is done, the gong will sound at the end. And I will also just say a couple of words, but then, as always, if you can sit quietly for a bit longer, then that's always really lovely to take that extra time and just sit and be still with what you've received. Grab a drink, ground, whatever makes sense to you. But certainly sitting and being with the energy is really supportive. So let's get started, shall we? With this transmission today of destruction, birth, creation. And I send you much love and thanks for being here with me. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thank you for joining. Much love.